likes, and follows. It's all fool's gold. Yo, now what you striving for? What you seeking? Is that your voice of reason or your ego mind speaking? See, I had to learn a question, that monologue had to deepen. And when I learned the code...
Alright, so in the last video I primarily worked on pulling the tank. And by pulling the tank, at the same time I actually added a couple holes that were not in the tank. So I was put in a place where I had two options. Either I weld the tank, or I ended up coming across this material from JB Weld where you can actually close the hole, and this is supposed to hold a lot of pressure, and it gets so hard that you can actually grind over it. So it seems like a perfect position for me, or perfect opportunity for me to try it. So I'm here just doing my best to try it and working on this before I work on actually giving the final shape to the tank. So here you can see the final product before grinding, and you can actually hear how hard this is, or how it became after just half an hour of applying it. Pretty incredible. So I'm here grinding the material just after the first application, and this is not intended just to replace the bond or anything like that. This is just to plug the holes, but I have to make sure that it's completely flat so that I can use it or put bond on top of it, and then it doesn't reveal itself when it gets the time to paint the tank. So after sanding the material, this is how it looks when you get closer to the final shape you want to give to your tank. In this case, the correct shape that I'm trying to give to both of the dimensions and the top and the side. And here we're going to be removing some additional paint so that I can start working on either painting or adding some of the putty that I'm going to be adding to the tank. If I were to do this again, I will probably do it in a different way. So I decided just to go and start with the putty that is normally reserved for pinholes, hairline cracks after you have worked with your Bondo. So it's expected to do less of a work for in a surface that has already been kind of treated. So I will probably start in the future with Bondo and then reserve or use this the way it's intended to. But we can still determine if that was the good call or not when you see the end result. And I'm using the box as a scraper because why not? And as you can imagine, I repeat this process over and over again. So normally you would like to add a layer. One is dry, you're going to sand it out and just kind of take a visual inspection of how it looks. Is it filling the holes? Is it leaving a somewhat of a flat surface, or exactly the surface you want it to be at the end? So then if not, or maybe you sanded it too much, you're gonna have to add again and continue doing that until you're satisfied and you're kind of putting your hand on top of it and kind of feeling it out and see how it feels, or visually inspecting to make sure that you actually got to the place you want it to be. This is the first time I do this, but this is a very important step. And what I'm trying to do here is just to paint the area that I'm actually working on. And I've seen this before. And the intention is for whenever you put paint is going to reveal some of those deficiencies or crevices or irregularities on the surface that you're only going to see when you have a uniform surface. When you have multiple colors such as metal, or maybe the paint on the tank, and then the putty on top, you have so many different colors that it's not allowing you to really see how flat the surface is. So this is giving me a great opportunity to see the areas that are either higher or lower, so I can start kind of paying attention to those areas as well. As a result of the exercise of painting it, that's when I realized that I had an area that from the original dent, it had already been, it was kind of raised. So I needed to kind of use a hammer just to lower it a little bit. I completely understand this is not the right hammer for this job, but essentially, this is what I had in my hand, so I was able to kind of make it work. And I think you're probably gonna be happy with, the results whenever you see it at the end. And then it's going back to the same process again. You're going to continue adding more primer, sand it out, and trying to determine if the areas that you have to fix are fixable with paint, or they need a little bit more than paint, and that's when you're going to be using the putty just to fill out those areas that are kind of lower or showing imperfections. And then just going to continue. At this point, I just covered the bike because I didn't want the bike just to kind of getting dusty or even more dusty air, or maybe getting some over spray. So at this point, I'm just going to continue kind of working on the bike until I'm pretty satisfied with the amount of bundle or material that I'm putting on, and with the actual results. Here you can see that at this point, I've done it so many times that I'm now trying to perfect a technique where I'm trying to put a focus on the areas where I notice that were different from the original shape. So for example, those two areas that I'm putting bundle, I'm actually leaving a decent amount of like putty in them, because I'm trying to provide a shape that it was missed whenever the dent was introduced in the metal, or the hole out in the metal. So I'm actually just trying to give it shape right now, just to emulate the same lines the gas tank had before. At this point, I'm pretty happy with the end result, so I'm actually going to go ahead and start prepping the entire tank to get painted, meaning I'm going to be removing the protectors or the actual grips for my legs. I'm going to be removing the gas cap so that I can start kind of masking and start removing some of the paint on the other tank, just so I can get a uniform surface whenever I'm painting the tank at the end. Normally, I try not to make a lot of like voiceovers on a video. I don't mind them, I like them, just to kind of give some additional perspective where things are happening, just so the video is not as long. But in this particular case, it was important for me to do it because it was in the middle of the summer in Arizona, and it was about 115, 117 degrees outside, so my garage was like super hot. So I needed just to be able to have fans flowing in order for me to avoid dying of a heat stroke in my garage. So I really appreciate you watching this video. I hopefully, I'm going to be showing you the final product. The bike is already painted at this point, so I'm just going to show you that, and you can, kind of come along with me, ask me questions, give me ideas, or send me comments about things that you will probably do different in the future if I were to come back to a situation like this. I would love to learn from you, and hopefully this is not about me showing you that I'm an expert, because I'm not. This is about me doing something that's completely outside of my my abilities and my skills, but I'm willing to try just so I can work on things and I can continue to expand my ability to get other bikes that are maybe that have been in crashes before, and I'm feeling more prepared just to kind of get on those type of projects and just make it my own and be happy and keep myself busy, you know, kind of working and learning some additional skills. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Send me your questions and have an amazing day.
En mi mente estoy